Welcome to tonight's team call, you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on and prioritizing this in your business. I do really appreciate that you hop on because I know that it's not always the most convenient, but some of you guys are here every week, and I appreciate it and hope that you guys learn a lot. If you haven't joined in the past couple weeks, I actually have a new opening for every team call where I'm going to go over some updates, some Success Club earners, and then introduce our speaker. And I have a little slide for you guys. So since it's only August 4th, we don't have anyone yet that's at Success Club, but we have lots of people that are on the way. So I won't read the full names, but we have Julianne at 4 points, and then the rest are at 2. We have Tiffany, Taylor, Michelle, Sarah, Sandy, Sarah, Candace, Katrina, Brittany, Sandy, Megan, and Idris. So congrats, guys, if you guys are on the call. For those of you that are not on this list, it is August 4th, so you have tons and tons of time. But I'll be recognizing people as they achieve Success Club and as they work their way up to Success Club throughout the entire month. Next, just a few reminders for you guys. There are eight different challenge pack promotions this month, which is insane. As most of you guys know, there's usually only ever 1, maybe 2 programs on sale. The fact that there's 8 is unheard of, and it's a huge advantage for us. So think of ways that you guys can promote the challenge pack promotions. Do not post this photo. Do not post any photo like it. Talk about most of it during your personal conversations. If you see one of these programs and you think it would be really good for one of your potential clients, share with them personally that it's on sale and how it's an amazing deal. Or try Country Heat, one of the free workouts on demand. Try that and share how it's on sale this month. Or same with 22-minute hardcore. Get creative and use these to your advantage. 140 is the lowest that any challenge pack will go, and we have 8 programs that low. It's just like insane to me that all of these are the cheapest that they'll ever be all during this month. So use it to your advantage. This week's focus for you guys, if you're on a Team Cup, make sure to participate. I know that there's a lot going on with Summit, with upcoming Super Saturday, summertime in August getting ready. If you have kids, getting them ready for school again. So there's a lot going on, but make sure you participate in your Team Cup. It is there to help move your business forward and a fun challenge so that you guys can win prizes for helping people. So there's really nothing bad can come from participating in that Team Cup. And also promote your upcoming fitness groups. The first 2 weeks of the month, I am promoting a group, and then the second 2 weeks, I'm promoting coaching. So since it's only the first week of the month, make sure that you're posting about it, you're messaging people about it, all of that. Get creative and start promoting a group. If you don't have a fitness group that you're promoting, either come up with a date and start promoting your own, or message your upline coach or myself, and we can add you into our groups and kind of co-host it together. So don't feel like you're alone. You don't have to be scared if this is your first group or one of your first groups. We're here to help you guys. And then last 2 things, I should have added an extra thing here. Super Saturday is this weekend. So make sure you look in our online office underneath news and events, and then Super Saturday. There will be an event close to you. So check it out, register for one, and get there so that you can get updates. You can work out with the teams, coaches, and things like that. And lastly, I did not particularly highlight our sneak peek into coaching event on our team calendar. And so I just wanted to say that here. It's not until August 18th, but we do have an event that will be a 1-hour event where it's a sneak peek into what we do as a coach. We'll share what we do, how we make money, the cost to join, coaching myths, all of that good stuff. So keep that in the back of your mind if you have anyone that might be interested in joining us for that.
Sam, is that going to be live videos like ones I've done in the past?
Yep. Yeah, they're pre-recorded videos actually, and then we'll just post them every 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay, cool.
All right, and so now we have an awesome guest speaker on our call. Her name's Melissa Hadley. You can see all of her stats right there. She is an incredible, successful, amazing entrepreneur. She's a 3-time elite coach, She's a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, meaning she's hit Success Club 10 or helped 5 people every single month for 24 months in a row. Top 100 coach in 2013 and 2014, lost 75 pounds. She spoke at Summit in 2015. She's a 6-figure earner, and her team name is Team Destination U, which I love. And you guys, I did just post her story. She has a recording of her story and her background and who she is, and so I posted it in our event page. I only did it at like 8:25, so if you guys didn't have a chance to watch that, you can watch that to get more info on who she is and what she's all about. So Melissa, you can take over and share your story or just jump right into the content.
Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for having me on the call, Samantha. I appreciate it. Talking about the power of your story is one of my favorite things to do. The power of your story is your key to this business. I feel like there's so many things that we get wrapped up in, and consistency. If I was telling my team the other day, I was having a team call for the cup, and I was telling the 4 of the ladies, I said, you have this special sauce that nobody else has. One ingredient is consistency, which everybody has, or everybody has the potential to have. And the other is your story. Nobody else has that ingredient. And so you need to hone in on that and take it, excuse the pun or whatever, but take it by the balls and run with it, because nobody else has it. And so I always like to start off by asking, how many of you legit don't feel like you have a story? By the raise your hand if you just don't feel like you have a story. Okay, so we had 1. That's okay. It's hard to see, but I can tell you that the day you were born was the start of your story, and the day you became a Beachbody coach, the day you purchased that challenge pack or however you started, is the first page of your story with Beachbody. But there's a whole lot of stuff that prefaced that start. And sometimes what it takes is digging really back into that story, into that of your story, to bring out what has brought you to this point. What do I mean by that? I've told a lot of my challengers and a lot of my coaches that if they are stuck, they need to journal. They need to go pick up a journal, write it down, and actually write it, not type it, because there's something about typing that isn't quite as awesome as taking a pen to paper. It can be very emotional, an emotional time. If you're like totally stuck on figuring it out, journal about it. I've even told people that they need to go to therapy because there's stuff there that they need to deal with before they can move forward. And that's true on your fitness journey. That's true on this business journey. That's true in life. If you want to move forward. So I'll tell you a little bit about me really quick, because it's not about me. It's about for you to tell your story. But you can see some of it in the video that Samantha posted. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant, so that's a whole nother piece of my story. But I've struggled with my weight my whole life. And when I was trying to lose weight, and I was oinked at in the hallways and in school, and I went to a private school. It happens everywhere. It was awful. And I went to college feeling fat and gross, and I would take diet pills, and I would drink all these shakes, and I would do all this just to lose weight. I would chew and spit my food. I would do anything I could because I couldn't make myself throw up. I tried and I couldn't do it. But I was heck bent on losing weight, and I just didn't know how to do it, so I was kind of lost. And I would drink Splenda diet sodas like it was coming out of my ears. Fast forward a lot to college. I started to get fit, and I started to lose weight by counting calories. And if it was fat free, it was for me. And all that meant to me was, or later was, I was just eating a bunch of chemicals. I was eating a chemical crap storm, and that caught up to me. Fast forward even more. I ran a couple marathons. I really got interested in fitness. I became a certified personal trainer, but I still had no clue about health and nutrition. And most personal trainers don't take that extra step to get certified in nutrition. If there's one thing, just really research foods and know what to tell people. Things with sucralose turned out to be my nemesis when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2009. I was getting married that year. I had qualified to run the Boston Marathon, and I had woken up one day with 2 numb feet, and I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. I was healthy. I had lost a lot of weight. I had lost, like, at that point, 60 pounds by counting calories and eating crap food. And by crap food, I mean the healthy labeled food, and 4 Splendas 4 times a day and 4 different coffees, diet soda all the time. And I thought it was fine because it was calorie free and I was losing weight, so who cared? But I wasn't educated enough to know that those chemicals were affecting my health. So I was diagnosed, and I made a decision right then and there to stop all soda, all sucralose, which is Splenda, that's what it is, all artificial sweeteners, and to totally change my nutrition. We got married that year. I got pregnant. I gained back every single pound I had lost, and I was back to 203 pounds. And I am heck bent on not getting over 200 with this baby. But I got up to 203, and then had my son. I nursed him for 13 months. And as soon as I stopped by the way, I decided to not take medication for my MS. I worked at a health insurance company. I was scared crapless over what the potential side effects could have been. They told me in Boston that these new to market medications that they wanted to put me on, which are the oral meds, could cause my baby to be born without arms or legs. So I said, I'm pretty sure I would like my child to have all of its appendages. And if it's going to do that to my baby, what's it doing to me long term? And they thought I was crazy for not wanting to do it. And they also said that one of the side effects was death. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure I want to live. So I said no. And that totally turned me off even more than I already was. And that's not to say that medication doesn't have a time and place, because it does, and it's a personal decision. But that for me, at the age of I think I was 29 at the time, 28, I was like, yeah, I'm good. And so I haven't taken meds since. I came really close, though. In 2012, I started to lose my eyesight in my left eye, because that's just part of MS. And when I stopped nursing my son, all those hormones started to catch up to me, and I almost lost it. And that's when my coach, who had been on my butt for like 4 months at that point to try Shakeology, because she really thought it would help my MS, I reached out to her after she had been messaging me every month, and I said, I've been researching this stuff, because I had originally told her to stay away from me. I had no interest in these shakes because of my history. Like, I had been drinking shakes, and to me, they were all created equal. They all were junk. They all had sucralose in them, or aspartame, or soy, or whatever. And to me, it wasn't worth it. So I didn't even look it up at first. And then I started researching it some more. And so when I realized that this stuff was actually legit and good, I tried it. And I bought 1 bag as a customer. And after 30 days of trying it, while it's not a cure, I had no symptoms. My eyesight was back. My numbness was gone. And it's been great ever since. And that was March of 2012. I officially signed up. So it's been 4.5 years of never missing a day of Shakeology. And it is my medication. And again, it's not a cure. We can't legally say it is, but all we can do is tell our story with the disclaimer, and our story is super powerful. Now, I hope you're not sitting there with a story like that. I hope you don't have an illness that you get to talk about, because it's not something that you want to have to talk about. But you do have something to talk about. So you go back to, you can talk about your story with the business. Back in college, I was working 4 jobs. I hated it. I knew that there was something that I was meant to be, that I was meant to do more in this world. God didn't put me on this earth to sit in a cubicle like I was doing, or, work 4 jobs. Like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Unless you absolutely love your full-time job, that's awesome. But I didn't. I worked at a health insurance company. Not fun. And I knew that I had something more to do. And then Beachbody entered. And all I wanted, so this is me telling you my story. So insert your own story here. All I wanted was to get healthy. And I'm Dutch, so I wanted a discount. So I signed up for the discount. That was it. That's all I wanted. And then I wanted to be held accountable. I was at 180, my before photo that you can see through my profile photos if you look. That was at 180. And I posted that when I ordered my challenge pack. Because at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it out there. And if somebody wants to join me, awesome. Because it would be great accountability for myself. Like, I was totally in it for myself. I didn't realize that there was even a business opportunity. So I put it out there and I said, who wants to join me? This is what I just ordered the Turbo Fire challenge pack. And at that point it was $210 for that sucker. Now it's like free on demand. And I had 3 people message me because I was vulnerable. So that's another thing. You've got to be vulnerable with your story. And it's scary as all heck. It really is. Like, if you go look at that before photo, I'm frightened at what my next one is going to look like, but I'm going there and I'm going to do it again because it's part of my story and part of my journey. And I turned emerald in like a day. And I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh, I just signed them up the way I signed up and just assumed that that's how you did it. And my coach messaged me. She's like, you're emerald. I said, I don't know. Sure. So that's the business piece of the story. And I think a lot of times coaches forget to talk about that because we don't want people to think that we're trying to make money off of them. At least that was me. For the first year, I didn't talk about the business opportunity. I think I got to diamond. I don't even know. Some people know their dates. Like, I got to emerald tier, I skipped ruby, and I went diamond on this date. I had no idea. But I think it was like 6 months, 5-6 months. And that was by sheer luck. I did a shake and share. This woman brought 2 people. They signed up. And she's still with me to this day. She was my first coach. And then my husband. I just started to put people under him. And that's how I got to diamond. And I didn't know what that meant either. I didn't have a bunch of trainings. But I knew that there was power in these products. And so I had to get over the fear of what people would think about me. So Summit 2013 was my big like aha moment. I was dreaming big. I knew I went into that year as a 1-star diamond. My husband was the diamond because I didn't talk about the business for a year and a half. And I left that year as our team earned 5-star diamond elite. With Summit was in June at that point, so June to December, because I realized at that summit that I was depriving so many people that needed to get their story out, that needed to be held accountable, that needed to help all the people that they knew. I was depriving them of this great opportunity. So if you're not talking about what the business has done for you, you need to start talking about what the business has done for you. Even if you cycled once today and you made $14, like that can buy some fruit and vegetables for your family. Like something so minuscule to us is something really big to somebody else. So no matter how small or big you think your story is, you need to tell it. And you don't have to be perfect. Life is not perfect. People don't want a perfect coach. There is no such thing. Even though we might look at the top 10 or whoever as perfect, they're not. They struggle and they hustle every day, just like you and I do. But you have to be raw and real on your Facebook, on your social media, whatever you use. In real life, be raw and real. There's a fear that comes with that being raw and real. And I was telling my team last night, you know, I'm a Christian, and for the first time I prayed with the 4 girls. I was so fearful to do that because I don't know how. I always think of myself as somebody who doesn't know how to pray, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And so I prayed with them. And then I got this message from one coach who has had this wall of fear about posting on Facebook. And she messaged me and she said, it brought me to tears, which I couldn't tell because she had called in. So I didn't know that she was crying. When I was praying for them to be able to tell their story and to know that when you all are telling your story, you're going to help at least one person, even if it's just for that moment. In a world full of darkness where all you hear is about politics and shootings and all this crud, make your Facebook page someplace that people want to go to for inspiration every day, for a little glimmer of light, because you might be all they have. And so I encourage you to get over that fear. Just get over it. It takes a lot of personal development. I was very scared at first. I had very thin skin. I've grown very thick skin over the years. I've been called a liar. I've been called a fake. I've been told you don't have MS. My husband has been messaged and said, you need to tell your wife to get her head out of her, you know what? And I was like, whoa, because she needs to go on medication because she's killing herself and you're going to be stuck changing her diapers someday. Like, this is the stuff that I've gone through. So you might go through some crap from people that are just not with it themselves. But I have a team of 3,000 people who are helping others. And so what they say, those naysayers say, it affects me for like a millisecond. And then I get over it and I look at everything else that you have. And you have this team, if you have one person, I don't care if it's just you right now, you have the power to change so many lives if you get over the fear of posting. So how do you do that? You go back. What brought you to this moment? Every little thing you go through is a piece of your story. Everything. And I'm a crier and I'm hormonal. I'll tell you 2 little snippets. We had a girl that drove from Pennsylvania to Tennessee by herself for Summit. She's in my downline. And I ended up staying with her because she needed a place to stay. And she's been on her journey. So she's been a coach for a long time. But something made her want to go to Summit. So she got in her car and she drove there and she gets there and she just finished Max 30. So there's power in your story if you start and finish a program. Don't be jumping all over and have program ADD. Just focus on one program. So she did Max 30, start to finish, 60 days. She's on a big journey right now. And she lost 35 pounds, which was amazing. And she was so proud. She walks into general session, and it was dark in there when we got in there, and we were sitting with the team, and I didn't even see it happen, but she went to sit in the seat and she couldn't fit. She wouldn't, no matter what way she turned, the armrests were in her thighs and she could not fit in the seat. So she got up. She had 2 choices. She could walk right out of there and go back to the room and cry, which is probably what I would have done. Or she could go to the bathroom, let it out a little bit, and come back in, and that's what she did. And she sat in the handicap area with the folding chair. Now, she kept this a secret. I had no idea this happened at all. She had told her coach, and I knew something was up, but I don't know her that well, so I didn't really push. And then she posted it on Facebook. Let me just tell you, that girl, she's at Success Club 6 or 8 right now, because from that post, she was so vulnerable and just got out of her own way and posted it. And when she got out over that fear of what other people were going to think about her, I mean, how embarrassing. That's like so embarrassing. That's like the seatbelt not fitting on an airplane. It just was horrific for her. But that's a piece of her big journey. She has this whole story of what brought her to that weight to begin with. That's a piece of your story. What brought you to sign up with your coach? That's a piece of your story. What happens during your day? That's a piece of your story. I try to incorporate in every post a piece of my story. You know, MS is just a piece of my story. I'm pregnant now and I'm gaining weight back. It's a piece of my story. There's another piece of my story that happened today at an ultrasound that I'm scared crapless to tell, but it's a piece of my story that I have to tell when I'm ready. And just every little thing that happens to you has likely happened to somebody else, and they will be attracted to you even more when you are vulnerable and you let them in a little bit. And that's scary. It's scary in the world of social media, but you're not alone. You're supported by, look at how many, there's 14 participants on this call. And I know that your team is much bigger than that. You're supported by all those people in a world that can come at you and attack you. You're surrounded by people that want to help you and lift you up if somebody is a dink and says something bad. So if that happens, it doesn't happen all the time. So know that being vulnerable is huge. You have a trial-filled history that you could be talking about. And the other thing to remember is too, some people say, well, Melissa, I've shared my story so many times, like people are sick of hearing it. Well, people know that I have MS, like it's all over the internet, but there's a million people who don't. And even if the people on my Facebook feed have seen it a million times, I tell it a different way every time. Or the way Facebook works is you never know who's seeing your post. So maybe somebody is seeing your post for the first time. I have people all the time that have been friends with me for a while, friends on Facebook. They're like, I didn't know you have MS. I didn't know you were a Beachbody coach. I'm like, for real? You didn't know? Like you went and ordered on Amazon. You didn't know I was a coach? Like, I don't get that. I just had that happen yesterday. Like, hello. So that's why it's so important to be posting your story all the time. Little snippets. You don't have to vomit it all over the place. And you don't even have to talk about Shakeology in your post. It could just be the general feel that you get because of the team that you're on, that your life is better because of Beachbody, because you've done personal development. And people might say, oh, you're so happy all the time. What's the alternative? Would you rather me be mad all the time or angry? So just don't be afraid to share. Share tactfully. Don't just post a picture of your Shakeology on the deck and say, this has changed my life. Don't do that. Talk about why it's changed your life. Talk about what brought you to even sign up in the first place. Talk about how it's helped you and get emotional about it. And before you hit enter or whatever you hit to post, hit post. Make sure that it's something that if you saw it, you would be like, whoa, I'm inspired. Because if it's something that you'd be like, yep, seen it a million times, scroll, then don't post it. Give it a little more oomph. And once the summit seminars are posted in your back office, I loved the one with Elizabeth Hartkey, and I can't remember who else spoke with Elizabeth Hartkey, but it was a very good presentation about posts and how to formulate them. So I would recommend listening to that seminar once they're in your back office. So that's what I have. So now, how many of you feel like you have a story by the show of hands? Right, all of you have a story. So go tell it.
I love that you mentioned to a few things. Share snippets of it, so you don't need to share everything all at once, and share it in a different way. You know, even if you shared a million times how you're in student loan debt, talk about how it made you feel, talk about what you did about it in different ways, or, you know, whatever the big piece of your story is, sharing it in different ways will attract different people.
Right. So one of mine and I have posts planned, like plan your posts, write them down in your notes section, whatever. But when after this baby comes and I am like, and I do what's the new workout coming out? Core
de force.
Yeah, thank you. See, I'm not good with that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do that hardcore. And I'm going to say, you know, who's mooing now? Because, you know, I was mooed at in high school, and I'm going to talk all about how I was mooed at, and then be like, who's mooing now, with little cow emoji? You know, like that you can tell it in a funny way that people will still relate, and you get your point across without being, you know, whatever. Just different things. You can be funny about it.
One of my coaches, she's not on this call now, but she had a boyfriend in high school that insinuated that she was fat. And so she did a post, and it said something like, my boyfriend called me fat, and it got so much interaction.
Yeah. And if you go through my profile photos, I did a before and after, and I wrote on it with all these words that I used to say to myself. I used to call myself when I was in my before photo, and then my after photo was one of my elite photos, and it was a bunch of new words that I think of myself, like strong, empowered, leader, whereas before it was fat, pig, disgusting, you know, stuff like that. And it's very powerful, and people are attracted to that because they're going through that too. Whether they talk about it or not, they are, and they're always watching.
Yeah. And that's how you really connect with people, is the feelings aspect.
Yes.
You know, we all go through similar situations, but sharing how you felt is what other people are feeling right now. So that's why it's so important to share, like, why do you love Shakeology? How does it make you feel? The small things like that is what will attract people to you.
Right.
So does anyone have any questions? You can either unmute yourself or just post in the chat thread.
So I haven't watched the video yet, but I'm definitely going to. Sam posted it in the event page for us. But when you made that video, and I'm assuming it, you know, tells your story, hopefully as well as you want it to be told, how did you share that? Like, did you just be like, hey, here's my story, here's the link? Like, I'm just curious because it's definitely something I am kind of gearing up to do, and I want to make sure I do it the right way and make sure that it not only impacts me the right way with how I share it, but that it's shared in the best, you know, platform or however. So how did you go about doing that once you finally did it?
That's a good question. That video that she posted was made like a year and a half after I became a coach. My first video was, and I can give you the link to this too, it was made on a program that they don't even have anymore on the computer, but it was like a bunch of music with my before and after. It kind of told my story. And that's how I rolled it out. And then, you know, once I started to roll with the business, I had one professionally made. But when I first started, it was all posts. And then I got fancy schmancy with the videos. Like, you don't need to do the videos. They are very powerful. I would personally recommend waiting on spending money on like somebody to come in and do a video like that until you're ready for something like that financially. But you can make a super effective post with Flipagram or whatever, with pieces of your story, with pictures, before and after photos, right on them. And I would do that now. Tell your story now if you want to do it with a video like that. You can make a video on your iPhone with iMovie. It doesn't have to get all technical with the lights and all that stuff. That's just how I feel. But you can start posting that now. And then when you feel like your heart is telling you, okay, I need to dive a little deeper and tell something else, that might be a good point for a video to come in, because video is pretty powerful. Does that help a little? Okay.
Let's see. I see Emily. She said, I've heard that Facebook doesn't like to show YouTube videos because they're competing companies. So for a bigger reach, maybe use live video or upload a video directly instead of copying YouTube. Did you find that, Melissa, with your video?
This was before Facebook got all territorial on social media.
Yeah.
But there's a great app. It's not an app. It's something that you download onto your computer called Clip Grab. And it will change your life as a coach, because Clip Grab takes a YouTube link and makes it a link that Facebook doesn't hate. So I could just go to Clip Grab and use that YouTube video on my Facebook page, and tons of people would see it, versus me posting YouTube, no one would see it.
Interesting. Is that an app or is it like a website link that you go to?
It's a website link. You have to download the software to your computer.
Oh, okay.
But no, I posted a video of Country Heat that I got off of Beachbody's YouTube channel on my like page, but I used Clip Grab to take it and to post it. And it got a lot of traction, but it also had like 4 or 5 Beachbody coaches sharing it. So I had to message each one and say, hey, just so you know, you're sending them back to my page. And they're like, oh, I just couldn't figure out how to do it without YouTube. So it's Clip Grab. That's how you do it.
Awesome. And it's CLIP Grab?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Any other questions? I have one question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned that you used a lot of personal development to get to where you are to share your story today. So what are your favorite personal development books that you've read?
So mine, I'm not the best at personal development. I listen to a lot of it now, but I listen to a lot of Audible stuff. Mm-hmm. My favorite of all time will forever be Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer. Good night, buddy. I'll come tell you a story. Sorry. Clip Grab. I'm totally off track now. Wishes Fulfilled. Clip Grab. Wishes Fulfilled by Wayne Dyer. It's kind of spiritual-ish. He was a Christian guy. And I was so bummed. I was gonna go see him, and then he passed away last year. But he totally transformed my business with that book. That was the book that I read when I came home from Summit in 2013. It talks a lot about the I am. Like, I wrote it on my mirror. I am. We are an elite team. I am a strong leader. Like, just those affirmations. But that book was huge for me. But Chalene Johnson's Car Smart, best investment that I made. Back in the day, it was $100. I don't know if it still is, but it's a really great CD series, talking all about just everything you need to hear to get over your fears. So Car Smart and Wishes Fulfilled.
I did. I also listened to Wishes Fulfilled last year. It's an awesome one.
Yeah. And for me, like, I can listen to him, but reading that book was just, I have so many notes taken. I just loved it. Excuses Be Gone was another good one by him. It takes a little bit to get into his books because, like I said, I'm a Christian, and some of his stuff was kind of like out there and different than what I've been brought up with. So it was hard for me to get through. But once you get over that and just open your mind and your heart, it really is a great book.
Yeah, I agree. The first chapter is all religious stuff, and I was like, where is this book going?
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Yeah. All right, you guys, any other questions or thoughts or takeaways? Are you all inspired to share your story or a new story that maybe you haven't told yet? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you hopping on. And if anyone has questions afterwards, I'll shoot you a message. But awesome tips. I took tons of notes, and I'll share this recording with you as well if you want it.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.